We have a big announcement, folks, something we've been waiting on for several months, and it's now here. It's called Bella Melt. You were on it for just 1 week when you lost 3 pounds. So in the first week, you lost 3 pounds on this, right?
That is correct.
Your GLP-1 is a natural hormone that's in every single one of our bodies. And your GLP-1 lets you know if you're full. It's a satiety hormone. So when your GLP is working properly, it does help suppress your appetite as well as reduce those cravings. It's a sugar-free fast melt caramel. So what it's going to do best is it's going to reduce your sugar cravings or any other cravings you have in your body. It's going to suppress that appetite. But where Melissa got the most benefit, I think, over the last week was the L-carnitine. The L-carnitine tells your mitochondria, this is where you make, we've talked about it before, this is where you produce energy in your cells. It actually tells those mitochondria to burn fat for fuel. We're noticing other people losing up to 7 pounds in the first week. 4 pounds has been about the average. As you lose weight and as you take these Bella Melts, it's going to help lower that blood sugar in your body as well.
All the information is there. MelissaHouseBG.com, MelissaHouseBG.com. Just now introducing for the first time Bella Melt with GLP-1 Fast Action.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for joining me today on this. I don't know where you're at, but it's very nice, yet cold and snowy. Well, snow leftover. I shouldn't say snow. It's not snowing as we speak, but it is gorgeous out. We are live on worldviewtube.com. That is worldviewtube.com. Also, worldviewtube Rumble and X channel. Also, if you do have our app, you can watch us on your phone or devices. WorldViewTube app available for free on app stores of your devices. Also live on X America News on X. We are live on my Rumble channel, YouTube channels, Facebook, and Substack. Join the conversation as always. I will look that way and I will read your comments, your questions, your concerns, your agreement and disagreement. I appreciate you being here. Today I decided to talk about something I've been meaning to talk about, but it has been so, should we say, busy. I don't like using that word, but it's been so chaotic on the news that I had to keep postponing it. And it wasn't something, I have covered it on by writing on my Substack, but this is something that needs to be talked about. And though I wasn't on air on December 12th, so I figured I did remember December 12th to, remember not some, but all the people I know and either personally know them or I know of them who were one day or another victims of the Islamic movement, more specifically the Islamic regime of Iran victims. So today we're going to talk, not too much details, but we're going to talk about one of them. And then from there, we're going to talk about Iran's regime. And I want to be honest, as always. I am a little bit concerned and a lot frustrated with the fact that America, the country, American government and American people tend to constantly undermine the regime of Iran for whatever reason. I mean, I know the government reasons. I just don't understand why my fellow Americans are either way too arrogant to see it. Is this a reaction out of fear? I don't know what it is, but I figured today would be a good day to talk about it. It is too important to not talk about. There are so many other things that are being constantly talked about that if you ask me, who cares, right? I was on the phone with my darling mama bear, Joyce, the other day, would have been Sunday, I think, or maybe yesterday, and she pointed out, I talk to her regularly, and she's my voice of what I call outside of my head. She makes suggestions about my show, about my Substack, as an American born, raised Christian conservative, she gives me ideas. And she brought up the fact of, one thing she notices, especially last few months about my show and Substack, especially my Substack, is that though everybody else is talking about the soap opera, I'm not. And I asked her, I said, is this a good thing? Or is this, she's like, no, for me, that's a great thing. I can come to your Substack, or I can watch your show or look at your reporting with a clear head and get the information I need, or not, or walk away. At least I know I'll find something that it's not within the echo chamber, which I take that as a compliment. And I'm very glad that that's how my platform, at least to her, is working. Which, by the way, I should say, I will invite you to join my Substack if you haven't yet. It's liveuptofreedom.substack.com. That's liveuptofreedom.substack.com. Or you can find my Substack through my website and many other platforms and outlets on liveuptofreedom.com. Most of my content are for free, but once a week we have one Substack, which today's, for example, Substack is behind paywall, which again, I do encourage you to become a paid subscriber. I will say this, I hope it doesn't come out wrong. Based on my paid subscribers' feedback, it is worth the $8 a month or $80 a year information. Also, it does support what I do, so I don't have to cut down on doing what I do, which I have a very strong feeling I'm going to require a lot more hours into doing what I do as we step into 2026, and I will tell you why in a minute. Anyhow, that plug done. I see a lot of, again, it might be a cultural thing, though I'm very Americanized, but you all know that my point of view has stayed the Iranian point of view, or Ina's point of view, as I would like to say. Maybe it is important to other people. Maybe it does make a difference. To me, it doesn't. To be very blunt, to me, Erica Kirk and Candace Owens' drama makes zero difference in my life, in America's future, in security of our next generation. It doesn't. They're two individuals with two opinions. For whatever reason, they have come to a very serious disagreement. I understand. But to me, that's all personal matters. Why are we, and that's the thing, those of you who have been with me for last decade, I have had people who came after me and I have never responded. My own inner circle, there has been times when my own inner circle is like, you want to at least make a post about it? I'm like, no. I'm not going to entangle my supporters who are here to learn about Islam and its dangers and all of that. I'm not going to entangle them with my personal issue with somebody who, for whatever reason, decided to say something about me. This is literally a proven record that I have never brought that into my mission. Why? Again, I don't think you guys are here for me to waste your time, your energy, your money. Those of you who are paid subscribers, those of you who are purchasing my art, those of you who are supporting my sponsors. I'm not going to waste your time, your love, your support, your money on telling you somebody said something about me. Now, I understand some people have told me, well, you're not as big as Candace, nor are you as big as Eric Kirk. Okay, fine. I'll say the same thing about Trump. Nobody is bigger than Trump. And I mean literally physically and popularity, right? I'm like, can you keep it to yourself? Why do you go after your, attorney general? Why have a truth post? Anyways, that was my rant of the day, that I encourage you to, as an audience, don't bring fuel to these fires. We are in a crisis as a country, as a nation. We are fighting too many wars in too many fronts to have the luxury of 20, 30, 40 years ago household soap opera watching. The disinformation and misinformation is flooding our children's devices. And we don't have time for this. I'm not saying boycott those people. I personally, I don't follow neither one of them. But if I was a follower, if I was a supporter, I would write a message and say, ladies, we have more important things to take care of. That's what I would do. So if you agree with that, I encourage you to do the same thing. And this is just two names I dropped. I'm not targeting them. This is the most recent in my head. There are so many other, especially conservatives, attacking each other, wanting to be the one. I'm right. No, I'm right. No, you're evil. You're good. You as audience, you as supporters are the judges of those decisions. And with your actions, you need to make that decision. Anyhow. That all being said, this is why I'm trying to keep bringing attention back to Iran's regime. Iran's regime, it's, and also I want to be clear, yes, my heart will always, until my heart beats, part of my heart will always be inside Iran. Always. Inside the streets I grew up, inside the mountains I climbed, inside the ocean I learned how to swim in. And with the people that I know personally and those that I don't, but I share a culture with, I share blood with. I'm not going to deny that. However, that is not my point. When I talk to you about Iran's regime, I'm not telling you so you know how terrible people of Iran's life is or how terrible the economy is. No, I'm telling you because those very people inside that regime have infiltrated far beyond Iran's borders. I mean, far beyond. And that's why I want to talk about this one individual today. So it might give you an idea how far their resume is bloody. Some of you are familiar with it. Some of you have wrote me saying, I've never heard of that. And it's just a matter of time until, sadly and unfortunately, you might here in America realize how much you underestimated this evil. And I want to do my part to make sure that I have informed those who are willing to listen, those who are willing to watch, those who are willing to even be informed on that topic. I did my part through telling other people's story, through telling my story, through translating their reports, the ways I am capable of doing. So let's introduce the person because I'm coming up here on oh gosh, I have to go there. Teresa, welcome to the show. Teresa just says, sound like Bob. Do you think he's listening to you? I have to tell you guys, I joined Brennan House on his radio today to discuss many matters, including the, uprising of or rise of persecution of Christians here in America. And he opened the phone lines, and there was a caller, as Teresa said, Bob. Gentleman called in, very upset. I mean, very upset. First accusing Brennan of spreading conspiracy theories. And Brennan I wish I knew how to be like Brennan. I don't have his heart. Well, he's like, Bob, let me ask you this. What is the conspiracy we said? And it's like, you're claiming such and such and such, which we didn't at all. So Brennan goes back with, no, we didn't. And Bob comes back with, well, no, you didn't. You hinted at it. Well, no, you didn't even hint at it. She did. Saying I hinted at it. Anyhow, it was pretty interesting. And Brennan, of course, encouraged Bob to continue listening to Brennan's radio. And then at the end of the show, I said to Bob, if you're listening, I invite you to join my show because I'm about to give you a lot of conspiracy. Teresa just asked. I hope he is. I hope Bob is listening. I don't think he would. His topic, though, at least based on his suggestion, I don't think his topic is anywhere near what I cover. But I do hope he does. It was a funny one, though. Thank you, Teresa. You actually cracked me up. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. Zelda says, I actually thought that Israel was going to finish the job in Iran and thought they would finish the job in Gaza. I hear you, Zelda, and we will talk about that on third or fourth segment of today. But we do, I didn't even get to introduce the person we want to talk about, but that's all right, guys. Let's head over to our first ad break. Keep the comments coming, and when we come back, we're going to dive in. Don't go anywhere.
Life is too short to spend a single moment spinning in laundry worries. Take a load off your mind with the all-new Norwex Powerzyme laundry detergent. This natural detergent harnesses the power of enzymes and plant-based surfactants to leave fabrics fresh and clean without fillers, brighteners, synthetic fragrances, bleach, or harsh chemicals. So go ahead, have your cake and eat it too. More than ever, stressful stains have met their match. Powerzyme's fast-acting enzymes break down organic substances while natural surfactants loosen locked-in dirt and oil, removing residue, stains, and odors with ease. With 91% bio-based ingredients, this dermatologist-tested hypoallergenic formula is suitable for sensitive skin types and delivers a safe and effective clean that won't harm you or the planet's waterways. Less time spent worrying about laundry means you can focus on what truly matters. Norwex Powerzyme Laundry Detergent. Discover the power of nature and load up on confidence.
To Freedom, thank you so much for staying with me until now. Guys, I brought one of those right here. And here's the good news. It's not just for laundry. They also have it for dishwashers if you use them. I talked about our new sponsor yesterday, which you can get all their products or available products to me on cyruswellness.com. That's cyruswellness.com. Those of you who know me in person. Actually, at this point, even my producer can testify, because when we take a break, I take a sip of my drink, whatever it might be, and I'm sure he'll notice that I'm always wiping my chin. My grandma used to say that I have a hole in my chin. No matter what I drink or eat, as a 42-year-old today, it will find its way dripping on what I'm wearing. One of the reasons, if you go back, watch me 10 years, you very rarely see me in white or bright colors, because that's a problem. But I don't have that problem anymore. Chemical free. You just put it in your washer, whatever type you have. There's a good description on the back, and it comes with a card. By the way, this is a small pack. You can get the big ones, depending on, you know, how much laundry you do. Same thing with their dishwasher product. It really, again, all of the products I have used. Yesterday, I introduced you to my miracle worker at home, which I still have the new one here, the window cloth. Today, I want to talk to you about these two. And if you think in any shape or form, no, actually, let me try. Powerzyme and Ultrazyme. The name, the powder for laundry is Powerzyme, and then Ultrazyme is the one for dishwasher. Whatever of their products that I introduced to you means are those that I have tried, not just once and be happy. For 6 months, I was introduced to this company 6 months ago. I have tried them. So I do encourage you to head over to cyruswellness.com. That's cyruswellness.com. Take a look at the product. Make a purchase, of course, because that way you support me through my sponsor. And honestly, their products, whatever I bring on camera, I will put my guarantee behind it. And if you're like me and you have a hole on your chin, you can wear whatever you want to wear and not worry about ruining it, because the stain won't come out with those chemical, loaded chemical and watered down laundry detergents or dishwasher detergents for that matter. So head over to cyruswellness.com, make purchases, and then let me know. You know, make a purchase and then use it and send what we would call testimonial, because then I'm going to use your testimony on top of mine to try to not only, this isn't just necessarily about getting the, you know, sales up. It's also, I mean, if there's a good product that is chemical free, why not? Let's introduce everybody else to it. So if you get it, you like it, which I'm pretty sure you will, especially if you got kids. Not to call myself a kid, but my behavior is like a kid. I barely survive a shirt from morning to evening. I have to change it. Something is spilled. Mainly coffee. Very good at spilling my coffee. Or food, as they said on their ad. Go ahead. Have your cake and eat it too. CyrusWellness.com. That's CyrusWellness.com. Okay, let's dive in because I need to make sure that I do this right. We're going to talk about Rohollah Zam today. Some of you might be familiar with him through face. Might be name. I doubt it. His name is one of those complicated names. Rohollah Zam was a journalist. Some call him political activist. To me, he was an investigative journalist. Born and raised in Iran. And then during some clash of, usual once in a while uprising in Iran, he was arrested, put in prison, came out of prison and escaped, went to France. He went to France and using his connections to Iran and his knowledge of the language and the government and all that good stuff, he started a news channel called Ahmad News. It was full Farsi. I actually used his channel as one of my sources. His reporting went beyond just reporting. He was responsible for some of the sanctions we witnessed happening. He provided proof to Western countries, including America, to where they had the documents they needed to sanction certain banks in Iran, certain companies in Iran, certain individuals known as businessmen in Europe and America. That's how deep he was investigating. Until the regime of Iran started putting bounties on his head. You know, the fatwas we talk about? It got so bad after 1 or 2 or 3 calls from FBI. Yes, I'm referring to my own case. Government of France decided to provide him with protection. He legally, officially, went under protection of the government. He literally had police officers around his unknown location of apartment where he lived with his wife and 2 daughters. He had escorts. Even there's a documentary about him in Farsi, so I don't expect you to watch it, but you see that even if he's going to get a bag of grocery, he's escorted by police. As I said, I used his sources. At some point, I became involved with his news reporting. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I knew him to where, I hugged him and shook his hand, but I worked with him and his news reporting. And there was, of course, many attempts. He would receive regular calls. I mean regular, 5 times a day. Somebody would call saying, hey, listen, Zam, I have this, document on that person. I'm willing to leak it to you. Let's meet up. And that's normally our first one. Like when someone's like, let's meet up. I'm like, why? You can get me the document without seeing me. It's the same thing. It applies to all of us. So he would immediately know it's a setup, trying to get him, kill him, kidnap him, whatever the case might be. I'm going to try to fast forward this to the best of my ability. So he would filter to people who try to become friends or work with him or be part of his organization. And I'm not going to just blame him. There was one infiltration. And he wasn't the only one who missed it. Yours truly, I missed it myself. There was a woman, a refugee, asylum seeker in Turkey, who came in and fooled all of us. All of us. Later, we refer to her as the snake. I personally supported her financially, her life in Turkey as an asylum seeker. She became one of the reporters, one of the translators. But it ended up being she was the snake. She set up Rohollah. They got him in Iraq while he was traveling to Iraq to sit down with an investor who was willing to put down investment for Ahmad News to now move from a Telegram channel into an actual TV station, into a TV network. It was all set up. Got him, kidnapped him, took him from Iraq to Iran, and held him for about a year, from torture to information, whatever they could get out of him. At some point, they even went into negotiation with France because he was a French citizen at that point, dual citizen, to exchange him for some of their terrorists in presence in France. They didn't do it. They ended up, all this long story short, he was executed on December 12th, 2020, leaving behind his wife and 2 daughters. Her older daughter is now bravely following his footsteps. She is, doing what he did. And she's younger, of course. She has access to more, social media and all that. But I would ask you to keep all of his family, but especially the oldest daughter, in your prayer as she bravely tries. So she announced on her first speech at a Women Life Freedom rally in France that she said, "I will never let my father's sacrifices be silenced." So she is continuing. Now, this was 5 years ago. Well, 5 years ago, 4 days ago, if that makes sense in English. The reason I'm telling you this, Rohollah Zam was a son of an imam in Iran. Son of an imam, a mullah in Iran. Grew up with Quran, and he would tell you himself, grew up with Quran and the Deen and the Muhammad and the hijab and this and that. And the more he got involved with the regime through his father, the more he saw the truth. And as I said, he walked away from it. Not just walk away. We do this, right? He chose to tell the truth and expose them for what they are. Though, after he was kidnapped, taken back to Iran, tortured, and executed, his own father publicly removed his entire religious attire, threw it on the ground, and said, "If this is what we're fighting for, I'm done." And to this day, he has officially quit being an imam and a prayer leader and all. He walks around in a plain clothes now. He just gave it all up. Good for him. It is sad that his son had to make the ultimate sacrifice for him to wake up. It is sad that his son saw the truth way before the father did. But I'm glad the father did. Few points, few reasons I'm telling you this. Number one, he deserves to be remembered. What he did, he didn't have to. He could have, he has said this himself in many of his talks. He could have stayed in Iran. He could have become another mullah's son with lots of money, lots of access, get away with everything he does, come invest, do money laundering out here. He didn't. He chose to do the right thing. This man deserves to be remembered, regardless of how much the regime of Iran tried to produce so many propaganda videos against him. He died telling the truth, though he didn't have to. He had all the luxuries he could have ever asked for, being born into the family he was, to a father who was part of the government, a mullah, a religious leader, but he chose to tell the truth. He chose to move away, go to another country, learn the language, assimilate, become part of that country, and it still continue to doing what he could have, again, him and his wife, they could have go get a job in France and just move on with their life. They still didn't. We got to go to our second ad break, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Would you like to gain access to over 20 years of my radio shows, TV shows, my books? I've written 15 books, and most of those books are ebooks now. And we have conference DVDs, conferences where we filmed our conferences at the Ozarks, literally starting 20 years ago. It's all available in our archived vault. All you have to do is go to worldviewtube.com/vault, worldviewtube.com/vault, and for a reasonable monthly fee, you gain access to over 20 years of Christian worldview programming, news, information, books, documentaries, and a powerful search engine. And folks, it's a great way not only to educate yourself, equip yourself, but it's a big way that you can help fund our continuation as a broadcast network. Please check it out. worldviewtube.com/vault, worldviewtube.com/vault, and help us continue pushing out a Christian worldview.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. Good morning, Barnabas from Sydney, Australia. And hello, Cynthia from South Carolina. Beautiful state. Very beautiful state. Okay, so again, number one reason I try, as you know, I try on days. Unfortunately, I wasn't on air on December 12th, but on days of these brave young men and women who were killed in hands of the regime, I try to remember them on my show, and that's the number one reason I'm talking about Rohollah Zam today. Second reason, when I say, let me tell you the personal part first. I have had many people, and I mean many people, ask me, well, how come you're so isolated? You know, you don't have too many Iranian friends. You don't do too much Persian parties. Those of us who do what we do over time have learned that unfortunately, as much as we have wonderful Iranians who support us, we equally have Iranians who will pretend to support us, and then they will deliver us to their masters. Just like it happened with Rohollah. And I want to repeat, I am as guilty as him and everybody else. This woman was so good at doing it. We all believed her. Her documents were so flawlessly good. Again, as you know, my organization, Live Up to Freedom, we do a lot of rescue cases. I sit and dig into documentations, and I check for, verify the documentation. Make sure it's true, it's legit. But this woman got us all. However, unfortunately, her target was Rohollah. So that's why a lot of us have to be isolated. I make light of this, I laugh about it. But the truth of our lives, Iranian dissidents, Iranians who choose to tell the truth, though we made it to safe places where we can move on, blend into the society, and just live a life that nobody knows who we are. We choose to do what we do. And with that, we also understand we have to be fairly isolated and be very picky and very careful who we make friends with, who we give our address to, who we even give our phone numbers to. It's part of what we do. And though we all are very careful, he left behind a wife and 2 daughters. The youngest one was too young to even understand what has happened. There's a phone recording of the youngest daughter and the journalist who made the documentary, where the baby girl is, again, so young. She does her grieving or the showing of how she feels is in a bedtime story. Like, she tells a story of, once upon a time. I'll do my best to translate correctly to English, but she's speaking in Farsi at this point, and their second language is French anyways. She's like, once upon a time, there was a daddy. What could I do with daddy? I could play with daddy. I could laugh with daddy. I could learn from daddy. And I was told, now there is no daddy. That was this little girl's way of saying, this is what happened. That was her understanding. That was it. This was, again, 5 years ago. And of course, the family aren't left alone. I want to say this. The reason I say I pray for them, it's not just pray for them to come to terms with what happened to the father and the husband, is that, as I said, youngest daughters are still doing it. The wife is still doing what she's doing. She was attacked in 2022 on the street of France. They're heavily targeted. And with the oldest daughter choosing to follow the dad's footsteps, there is definitely more danger coming her way. So yes, keep them in prayers. But another reason of telling you about, and I want to tell you this, Rohollah Zam is one of the cases, okay? It's just one of the cases. If you're interested, I will be more than happy to write a full list and circumstances of every single Iranian who was captured, killed, either killed or captured, then killed by Islamic Republic of Iran's regime in Europe, Australia, and America. Please ask, and I shall deliver. Rohollah Zam is one of thousands, not hundreds. Just France itself has over 300 Iranian killed or kidnapped by the regime. One country, France, 300. This is not an isolated situation where, oh, well, it was one guy. Or this wasn't because, Rohollah was a son of a imam. No. And that's why I said I'm a little concerned and extremely frustrated when it's so easily brushed off. I don't know how many times we're like, well, you're in America, they can't get you. Really? You want to bet on it? Or how about this? When they do get me, you're going to attend my funeral? Because I prefer you don't. This looking the other way, brushing off, not taking the regime's power, has reached a point where it is dangerous. And I'm not saying this just for me. Yes, part of it is, it's not as simple as you all think. Just because I'm in America, they're not going to get me. We have had those who were pretty much reached in America as well. And I'm not afraid, by the way, so I want to be very clear. I'm not afraid if they kill me, they kill me. Because my expiration date down to the moment and second of it was issued by God the day I was born. So they can't get me until it's time for me to go. I'm not afraid of that. Do I have what it takes to face what I know I will face if I'm kidnapped and taken back to the country? I pray that Lord will give me the strength to face it. Because what I have faced as a young girl, I don't know if I have what it takes today to face it, but back then I didn't have God with me. Today I do, so I guess that's going to balance it off. So don't take this as I'm afraid. That's what I'm telling you. No, I'm telling you because I'm afraid for you. For those of you who prefer to be arrogant and think Mullah's got nothing. Oh, I dropped the BTUs. Okay. Check out Europe. Check out America. Go, again, if you like me to do the research and do the report on Substack, let me know. Put it on the comment section and I'll do it. The reason I said I don't want to do something that nobody cares about. That's why I'm asking for you. If you want me to do it, I know it. If you want to know about it, put it on the comment section and I'll do it. Hi, Christopher. Good to see you on Facebook. But if you want to do the homework yourself, go to our DOJ website, look at the names and the organizations and banks that have indictments against them solely for funding and planning and plotting to kill Iranian Americans, heavily journalists, translators, reporters. We have a reporter, we have a news anchor, not even a reporter, news anchor at Iran International, whose family members were taken into Evin prison because they couldn't get to her. I can't even imagine what she went through and what she's still going through, because the threat was, you stop getting on camera, we'll release your parents. And guess what? To this day, she hasn't missed a single shift. That's another thing. I don't know what I'm asking. I'm not going to name it. But while the soap opera is so entertaining and exciting, some of us put our lives out there. Some of my fellow Iranian reporters have family members who are being captured, they're being killed, they're being taken hostages. Thank you, Lord, I don't. There's a difference. It is important for Americans to know these names, because when they're done with the names that I'm dropping in front of you right now, then your names become the next. When everybody laughs when I say there is a new bounty on President Trump, the laughter gets me thinking of, wow, how much denial are my fellow Americans suffering from? Do they really think we're bulletproof here in America? Really? I was producing a show this morning. I was producing a show. The guest brought up an interesting point. Now, the point was financial point, but for me, it was a different one, where he was saying that America was the shooting down Iranian Shaheed drones, spending millions, not thinking that if Iran starts directly a war with us, by the way, these are the Shaheed drones given to Lebanon, Hezbollah, and then, Israel fighting them back. Equipment involved, Shaheed from Iran, Iron Dome from America. He made a great point. Do we have enough money? His point was money. My point is, do we have enough missiles and equipment if Iran does decide to go to war with us directly through Venezuela? It's a question. I know most of you are going to write it off, just like you write off most of the things I say, but think about it. What are your guarantees that IRGC is not going to launch a war, especially now we know where they are. Now Trump is acting on it. What are your guarantees? They've been parked in our backyard for almost 20 years. Again, another Substack I have released. Document is in there. Go look at it. What are we going to do if tomorrow morning they launch an attack on us from Venezuela? We're just going to keep laughing. Mullahs wipe their butt with their left hand. Is that the response you're going to give? Or is that when you're like, oh, shoot, we should have probably taken Ina's warning a little bit more serious? And again, I'm not asking you to do anything magical. I'm just saying that acknowledge the danger. The very first step, if I would come into this work and if I would take Iran as light as most of you do, I would be dead by now. I told Brannon today, there was a report, he was covering a report of a Georgia Christian woman who was burned by acid. Suspect loose, we don't know. And he was asking if this is Islamic method. And I said, yes. Well, one of my bounties from Noel, Missouri is very specific. Burn her with acid. Imagine if I would take that thread of right here, Missouri, of that imam, if I would take it as some imam who doesn't know how to eat a steak. Yeah. That's all I'm asking you. Try to understand the threat. Put down the armor of American ego, not ego, and try to understand that these very disgusting, stinky 1400 years behind third world country imams have achieved what you don't want to even hear about. Proof is in the pudding. I put out daily Substacks. I look at the number of traffic. Every time I cover something about Iran or Khamenei or mullahs or Iranians killed, we're lucky if we reach 300. If I talk about, Ilhan Omar or Mamdani or Trump or New York or Michigan, we're hitting 25,000. That is the gap. That is the difference. And again, if you don't know your enemy, well, good luck. We got to go to our last ad break, guys. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, I'll read your comments.
News is moving faster than ever, and so are we. WorldviewTube brings you 24/7 live stream coverage and now real-time alerts when it matters most. Once you have the WorldviewTube app installed, exit the app and navigate your way to Settings. In Settings, locate the tab labeled Notifications. Select the Notifications tab. Scroll down until you locate the WorldviewTube app icon. Select the tab, and here you can turn on and customize your notification experience for the WorldviewTube app. News doesn't wait, and neither should you. Turn on push notifications to stay informed. Every headline as it happens.
Back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. I appreciate you. Dawn, I'll see you. And thank you. I appreciate your prayers. I always welcome prayers. Barnabas, I appreciate, said, you will be rewarded in eternity, Annie. Believe it or not, I am not concerned with the reward at all. As I said, my concern is, when will my fellow Americans actually decide to take this serious? That's my only concern. And again, with scenarios, I don't come to you every time one of us is taken out, but a lot of us have been taken out. I don't know when my mission is over. I don't know. God knows. And my concern is, if I'm not here tomorrow, who's the next person to cover it? Because look around you. There are very few of us left. There are very, very, very small amount, maybe a handful of Iranians who are still doing what I do. And you should ask yourself why, right? Why is the number shrinking? They didn't kill all of them. A lot of them retired. A lot of them like, I'm done. I have had those who used to do it call me and say, give it up, girl. Give it up. I have had them saying, what are you trying to do? They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to take Iran serious until, I don't know why. I'm not ready to give it up. So that's my concern. As far as reward, I've, for me, on an earthly reward, I have already received my reward. And as far as the eternity, that is God's decision. Thank you, Blair. I appreciate your kind words. Unfortunately, we're very limited to whom we can trust, Annie. People seem to so ignorant. Yes, that is my concern. While we're so busy looking at a lot of things that are not a threat at all. They're not a threat at all. But we turn them into threats while we overlook and overwrite the real threat. Again, I have said it many times. A lot of people are like, just let it go. I can't. There was a moment. Zelda, going back to your original comment earlier, if you're still here. There was an opportunity, there was a split second when this world, not just me, not just you guys, not just America, not just Canada, the entire world had a window of opportunity within few seconds to take out the head of the snake that has created bloodshed and chaos across the world for last 40 years. And Trump closed that window. How do you expect me to let it go? I get that some people prefer to think everything Trump does and do has some sort of bigger picture to it, but this one, you cannot debate me on that. There is no debating it. And then proudly bragging about it is what makes it an absolute blank move. These are the moments. These moves is why my job is so hard. When you have Trump saving the life of the head of the... Nobody can argue that Khamenei being there at the moment and last 40 years is definitely the reason we have Houthis and Hamas and Hezbollah running flawlessly. Forget about the Iranians who are killed inside Iran or out. You know, just forget about us all. Forget about us. How about the American soldiers? How about the Americans? How about the Europeans? Khamenei has funded it. Khamenei has built the empire of IRGC, though funded by Khomeini. Khomeini made it IRGC. Khomeini wasn't that... I mean, he didn't last long as a supreme leader anyways. These are the concerns. We are at a point where Iran is right here. I bring up the reason we're in Venezuela, and I have people telling me I'm just crazy at this point. No, this is Trump trying to clean our country from cartel and drugs. Really? Really? Okay. I pray and I pray and I pray that what I think is about to happen does not happen. I do pray that Khamenei doesn't give the green light to IRGC in Venezuela to go ahead and launch an attack. I do pray for that. But if he does, then I've done my job. I have delivered on my duty through my Substack, through my show, through my interviews with Brandon House. I have warned that IRGC is a breath away from us Americans. Now, either take Iran regime serious or keep hiding behind Trump's narrative of we destroyed their nuke and we scared them to corner and they desperately want to make deal with us. Those lies, your choice. Me telling the truth or Trump feeding you lies. You pick. I've done my job. For 10 years straight up, I have step by step dissected the regime of Iran's moves, including putting out the Iran nuclear plan B on my Substack, naming every single country that is part of the plan B of Iran's nuclear weapon. Many of them are so-called close allies today under Trump administration. And I want to repeat, this isn't me picking on Trump, FYI. Trump could be Jeff, could be whomever. I would say the same thing. I would say the same thing. It is your choice. As I told you yesterday, this week I'm touching on history. Next week, the same. On history. Because I feel like at this point, my job has, strangely, though I thought I will always be the person just talking Islam, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Kuwait, and Iraq, and Pakistan, and the rest of them. I honestly never thought I would be the person who's going to write historic Substacks to remind Americans of American roots. But hey, I'll take the honor. I absolutely will take the honor. But with these, at this point, I'm switching gears. This is it. This is where Iran regime is. They are killing their own people inside Iran and outside Iran. And some of us, including myself, are American citizens. The fact that our government, under any administration, has no concern for our life or safety says all I need to know about my government. I am an American citizen. I have been an American citizen for 15 years. 15 years. I've been in America for 24. I've paid my taxes every single year. Someone who didn't like me hired people and then ended up on a live feed saying, I cannot believe this. We couldn't find as far as a traffic ticket on this woman. I don't have as far as a traffic ticket. I am that American. And my life matters none to my government. I've received calls, as you know, from FBI letting me know I'm on IRGC hit list. But We still make deals with IRGC's bosses. And again, I'm not the only name. FBI has a very long, over 400 listed name of Iranian Americans on the hit list of IRGC. And as you know, there are also bounties on Trump administration, other people. Now, you tell me what kind of keep your friends close, keep your enemy closer is it when you're risking your citizen's life by doing so? If you think that's a, I don't know, good move, then, well, I'll see you in 5 years. If you don't, again, let's spread the truth. Every time you share, you know what, for every 12 soap opera posts you share one of the important posts. Not mine, somebody else's. But be involved, right? Be involved. It takes one person, second, right? We're putting the truth out, and then it takes, two people to grab that truth and spread it, 2 people from their pages. I don't know. Anyhow, Islamic Republic of Iran is a breath away from us. It is my concern. At this point, the only thing I can do is pray to our Lord and Savior to protect us against this evil that we had a chance to get rid of the head of the monster, but we didn't. And I will keep telling you about their next move and next move and next move, especially on my Substack. And on that note, I will invite you again. Hey, Zelda, I'll see you. I'm glad you're still here. I will invite you to join my Substack. I put information out daily, except weekends. I do take weekends off from writing so I can work on finishing or finalizing the formatting of the book. Monday through Friday, one Substack comes out. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I have my live show. And every day of the week, including weekends, I put short reports out mainly on Middle East. So liveuptofreedom.substack.com. That's liveuptofreedom.substack.com. And if you can afford it, I know economy is tough, end of the year, Christmas spending, but if you can afford it, become a paid subscriber. I can use the support. LUTFstudio.com is my art studio. That's LUTFstudio.com. All handmade art made by myself, and use promo code MISSION for a special discount. And don't forget to support our brand new sponsor, cyruswellness.com. Today we talked about these 2 products, PowerZyme and UltraZyme. One is for laundry, one is for dishwasher, chemical-free dough. It makes your dishes and your clothes spotless and clean. And my very favorite product, I will say this every single day, watch me, window cloth. This thing is amazing. You need nothing. Water, wipe, clean. Water, wipe, clean. Mirrors and glasses and monitors and phone. It is so spotless. It is addictive, but it costs you nothing and it harms you in no shape or form. So it's a very good addiction. cyruswellness.com. That's cyruswellness.com. Cynthia, I am so glad that you do love the history Substacks. They are coming for next 2 weeks. So, and as always, remember, you can reach out to me with your ideas. If there's something you want me to write about, throw it at me. If there's a topic you want me to address on my show, I will do that as well. We are out of time for today. You stay safe and stay vigilant. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same channels, to do it all again on a different topic. Goodbye.
You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview